Hey guys, welcome back. And I am going to just jump right into this video. Like the thumbnail says, 5 things that I wish I knew before I built my tiny homes. So for those of you who don't know and you're new here, I have done 2 tiny homes. My first one was a toy hauler conversion and her name was Jewel. If you want to see that video, I'll go ahead and link that one up here. My second one was Dream, and Dream was way bigger. She is considered a park model RV, park model tiny home, and I went ahead and renovated the whole entire thing. And right now, Dream is still on the market. The industry, as far as tiny homes go, have slowed down a little bit, but it has also gotten more expensive. Where you used to be able to buy a tiny home for a decent price, obviously, you know, consumerism, someone has found a loophole in charging people for a tiny house what you used to be able to get a decent small house for, which is disgusting. So I was a really big part of that community, the tiny home community. I'm not so sure if I'm going to remain part of that community because of everybody who is trying to take advantage of the community. Even rents have gone up everywhere that you go. People who are trying to park their tiny homes can't find a decent place to rent, a decent piece of land. There's so much bureaucracy and so much going on behind the scenes where people who don't know anything about the tiny house community are trying to make decisions for it and for people who actually want to live this lifestyle, who actually want to reduce their environmental footprint. And so it's sad that this whole tiny home thing has now been turned into just another way for somebody to make a shit ton of money. I'm not gonna bore you with too many details. I hope this video doesn't get too long. I really just want to let you know the things that I think that you should think about if you plan on being in a tiny house community, if you plan on purchasing something. And I don't want you to make some of the mistakes that I made. So let's get right into it.
Hold up.
The first thing that I wish I had known before I built my tiny house was that I was still going to have a storage unit. I have had a storage unit for the past 3 years, and I still have a storage unit. Even though I live here in Mexico now, I've downsized, but I still have a small storage unit with several things in them that I don't know that I necessarily want to move out of the country because they are more my personal items, things like that, and then some stuff that I still need to get rid of. But yeah, that is the first thing that I wish I had known. I thought that I was going to be able to downsize enough so that I wouldn't have to have a storage unit, but no, not with my lifestyle, with all the photography gear, with all of the wardrobe, with everything that I had collected over the years. I still needed to have a storage unit. I was not able to get rid of my storage unit. The second thing that I wish that I had known before I built out my tiny home was that the relationship that I was in previous to purchasing Dream was not going to last. Let me just go ahead and be completely honest with you guys when I say, after I sold Jewel, my first tiny home, I had no intentions of buying another home to convert. My plan was to move to Mexico since 2021. I had my tickets, I had my Airbnbs, everything was set up, scheduled, ready to go. However, I got into a relationship and I figured since I was going to be in this relationship, if that person was going to end up moving to the United States, I needed to have a bigger place to live. Not to mention, I also needed a bigger place to work. I did need a slightly larger workspace, but I could have done that anywhere. So since this person was supposed to be moving to the United States, I decided to go ahead and renovate another tiny home, which is what I did with Dream. However, that relationship didn't work out. I ended that relationship well over a year ago, and when I did that, I decided that I was going to get back on the plan that I originally had, which was to move to Mexico. So Dream was not completely done. I went ahead and completed everything to my liking because, you know, I enjoyed living there, but she was an investment. She was always going to be an investment in a way for me to get from point A to point B. And I don't mean like, you know, to move her, because I didn't want to move her unless I could find a piece of land, which leads me into number 3. I wish that I had known finding a piece of land to park her on was going to be so excruciatingly painful, as far as what you can afford on top of what you can and cannot do with the land, how big something actually has to be, a dwelling that you could actually habitate in. They want you to jump through so many hoops when it comes to living the way that you want to live, even if it's on a piece of land that you purchased. So much headache. As far as zoning laws and building codes, it makes it very difficult for someone to be able to place their tiny home where they want to place it without having to dodge the law. On top of that, looking all over the United States to try and figure where would I want to live, where would I want to be, what is going to be affordable, what is going to be peaceful, what's going to bring me the kind of solace that I know I can get if I leave the country. Yeah, so I wish I had known how difficult that situation was going to be, because when I had Jewel was small, 24 feet. I could have put Jewel anywhere. Dream, on the other hand, is 40 feet long. She is built like a brick shit house. She's big, she has slides that come out, making her 40 feet and in some places by 12 feet. So she's a little over 400 square feet when all her titties are out, okay? So, you know, with that said, she is not the kind of home that you're gonna be moving all over the place and driving over to Grand Canyon and driving down to, you know, Texas or Canada or even Mexico for that matter. She's just too big. And with everything that is inside, you would have to literally buckle down every single item every time you wanted to move her. It's not that she can't move, it's just that it would be a headache, trust me. The next thing that I want to talk about is the lack of privacy. And I am speaking in terms of my first tiny home and my second tiny home. So I did live in the same location in both homes. I thought that I would do a lot more traveling when I had Jewel, my first tiny home, but obviously that was during the pandemic and it was just difficult to go anywhere or even get reservations at places. You guys know the world was a hot mess. So I decided to just buckle down and stay put. And I really liked the RV park where I was at. Management was amazing. We had security. We had all kinds of things that in terms of amenities, that I really appreciated. However, I still think that the RV park was not placed in the right location of Las Vegas. But the fact that you are in such a small space means that your neighbors can pretty much hear everything, and I mean everything, and you can hear everything. So when you have neighbors that close to you, you kind of have to keep the fun down to a minimum, you know what I mean? So never mind. Anyway, I'm just saying the lack of privacy. You also need to keep your windows kind of buttoned up, because for me, I like to walk around with very little clothing most of the time, especially in Las Vegas because it's so hot. And I would just forget that, oh my God, okay, oh, my windows, okay, great. I think the lack of privacy can be an issue for some people, whether you're living alone or not. Now, if you live with someone else, that can also be an issue because you're sharing such a small confined space with another human being, as well as fur babies. And yeah, it can get a little bit dicey when you need alone time, when you need your privacy, when you are at that point in the month where you're just like get away from me. It doesn't allow you that. That is definitely something that I wish I had known more about before I went into the whole tiny house community. And that, like I said, that's for my first tiny house and my second tiny house. Okay guys, so I needed to jump back in here and give you sort of a bonus on one of the things that I wish I had known before I embarked on this tiny house, nomad, solo, black travelers, black expats, you know, women who are supposedly helping other women. It is probably more related to my life on a whole as opposed to just the tiny home itself. I wish that I had known that I was not going to get the support, that the sisterhood wasn't going to be there the way that I thought that it would be. That you got people who I have shouted out, I have bigged them up, I have put their channels on my channel, put them in my videos, said things about them, and you know, we're not talking about one person, we're talking about plenty of people here, and it just is never reciprocated. And again, nobody owes me anything. I get that. I can't expect that what I do from my heart, someone else is going to do. I don't know what it is, if they see my shine, if they feel intimidated, if they think that there's not enough room for all of us to grow and be able to win in this game. I couldn't tell you what their reasons are, but I've seen people either unfollow me, not follow me, but still I know that they're watching my videos and you're still a fan at that point, you know, but still it's like, why can't we do this together so that we can all win, so that we can all inform people about different lifestyles, so on and so forth. Anyway, I just needed to say that. Now back to the other video. So lastly, this is the one thing that I wish I had known before I built out my tiny house. And I mean the second one, not so much the first one, Jewel. I wish that I had known that the economy was going to take a deep dive the way that it has. For this reason, my tiny house has been on the market now for over 5 months. And it's sad because that tiny house, any of you who have actually seen it, you know she is badass. I wish that I had known how difficult it was going to be to get her sold. I wish I had known how bad the market was going to get, how everything was going to take a turn, where people would not be able to purchase something like Dream because of their buying power, because of inflation, because of the interest rates. The country, America, is in a recession. They don't want to talk about that right now because we're coming up into an election year, and obviously they want to make everything look like it's okay. But seriously, pause. Take a look, take your ass off of social media for a few minutes and actually see what's happening around you. You will see people are struggling to find a place to live. People are struggling to buy food. Things are ridiculously overpriced. Gas is through the roof. Everything. Unfortunately, it has made my investment now become more of a headache and a stressor. I'm now living in, seriously, paradise. I love where I live. I'm in a great area. It's quiet, it's private, I have storage, I have all the things and all the reasons that I mentioned in this video, I now have taken care of in my new home. However, it doesn't reduce the amount of stress that I have because Dream was an investment, and my investment is literally sitting on a lot, and I'm still paying insurance, I'm still paying a lot rent for her, and I feel bad that she is not getting loved on like she was getting loved on when I was there, you know, having everything cleaned and wiped down and music playing, and you know, you bring home to four walls, and right now she is just sitting there, and I feel like she used to be a home and I want her to be a home again. So if any of you are interested in purchasing Dream, she is beautiful. Ivan and I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that house. My tears, not Ivan's, but we did a lot turning Dream into the Dream tiny house that she is. You can buy a fixer-upper, which is what I did, especially with my first one. I completely turned a toy hauler into a home. So I was able to make a profit from doing that. If you are handy and you're able to do these things and you can buy something at a decent enough price and then put a little blood, sweat, and tears in there, then you are able to make a profit. But the tiny homes themselves, the RVs, the camper vans, the vans, the schoolies, all of that stuff is not going to appreciate in value like a home. So that's something that I wish I had known before I embarked on this journey, because I probably would have done different types of investments and just went ahead and got into a tiny home, because I wanted to be in a tiny home, but I could have just went the traditional route. But then again, I'm not a traditional kind of girl. Y'all know that. Keep in mind that your resale market, your pool of people looking for your type of home is going to be very small compared to someone who's looking for a traditional type of house. So when you do this, just keep that in mind. Obviously, I built my homes to my liking, and clearly a lot of people really like the designs that I did, but with the market being so small, such a small pool, you know, it's like I said, Jules sold within 3 days, and Dream has just been sitting, and I really would love to get her sold. So if any of you guys have seen Dream, if you've seen her on Tiny House Giant Journey, or if you've seen her on Access Hollywood, you know she's badass. And I am letting people know that I'm negotiating, I'm making deals. You wanna hit up my agent, she is at Tiny House Listings. I'll put that in the description below so you guys can contact Chelsea and talk to her about Dream if you're interested in purchasing her. The price of Dream has now drastically dropped from what I originally had her listed as to now half. So if you're interested in seeing that, sorry, I got a piece of hair. If you're interested in seeing that, just go to Tiny House Listings. I'll link it below for those of you who are seriously interested in maybe purchasing Dream. And then I can go ahead and stop worrying about, is she okay? Did, you know, is this, because I'm in another country and she's there. I want to say like alone, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's a human, but she was my home. So yeah, so those are my 5 top things that I wish I had known before I did my tiny house conversions. Again, some of them pertain to both, and some of them just pertain to the one. And yeah, so I hope you learned something from that. I hope it does not discourage you. If this is a lifestyle that you want, then go for it by all means. You and I are different individuals and we have different needs. You may not need a large office studio. You may not need so much privacy. You may enjoy the hustle and bustle of a busy city like Las Vegas. I didn't. You may actually have a piece of land that you can put it on. I was unfortunate that I could not find something, or the things that I found I couldn't afford, or there were too many things going on legally, zoning, building codes, and all of that stuff. So yeah, it just became a real pain in the ass. So again, not to discourage you, if this is your bag, go for it, get it. In fact, get mine. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys for sticking with me, and make sure you stick around, watch another video. I got a couple links for you guys who haven't seen Dream and want to see all of her conversion, what went into her. Just go ahead and binge on some of my older videos. All right, I love you guys. Bye. Did you hear my niece? Oh God. All right, I love you guys. Bye.